So, um, most of you know my past. I was a drug addict for over 30 years. My meth was my drug of choice and stuff. And when I moved out here in 2018, I I was still using, and I started talking to a girl, and I'm gonna have Durf bring up a picture of this girl. We were friends back in California. We'd hung out for many years. We'd done drugs together and stuff, and she went to prison for 4 years. She robbed her neighbor's house on meth and benzos, and she didn't know the cops were outside watching her do the whole thing. And they were home, and they were elderly, and they said that they were in fear for their life, even though they knew their whole lives and stuff. And so she got out of prison. We were talking. I was still using, and she started telling me about God. And I forgot all about this in my testimony. She would call me every day, and she would give me scriptures and stuff, and she'd tell me to have strength and that I could actually be delivered from addiction and stuff if I just accepted the Lord and went on about, God's business and stuff. So we continued to talk for several months, and then she kind of, she disappeared. She was working for the CAL FIRE, and then she kind of fell back down. But my story tonight is more about what God can do for us and stuff, and this has nothing to do with me, you guys. I'm not trying to toot my horn. This is all God. So anyways, if you could pull up the next picture. This is the same girl in 2022 and 2023. And so because of her, I'm actually standing here today with the words and stuff that she gave me, and of course, Christ. And so I find it kind of ironic that God used her in my life to deliver me from addiction and stuff. I too was delivered from addiction. I didn't do rehab. I didn't do 12 steps. I didn't do any of that stuff. I just cried out to Jesus, and he saved me, and I didn't have any more issues with that. So back in May, I believe it was, when Tony Slade was here, I remember sitting back there at the sound booth, and I was listening to Tony Slade, and he was prophesying over people, and I'm like, this, whatever. I'm not going up there. I don't want to hear anything he has to say. I'm not going to do it. And then finally, somebody started saying, well, Steve's got to do it too. So, and when I was back there, I was like, okay, what's he going to say? Do I have a shoulder injury, or is there something in my neck? And I'm not trying to make fun of it at all. I didn't understand it at the time. So I came up here, and Tony prophesied over me that I had something I needed to get rid of in my life. It wasn't a bad thing, but I needed to get rid of it. And I believe that one thing was fear. And so he also prophesied that I would evangelize. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is not me. I don't know what you're talking about. But Mike recorded it for me and stuff. And I went back over it. And 3 months later, my daughter worked at the Genesis Center, where they counsel addicts and stuff. And so I wanted to come over and give my testimony, but it wasn't working out. Okay, I'm back. So I started praying about it and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I didn't know what to do at the time. I just wanted to go give my testimony to these guys, but it wasn't working out. And then one day, I was on my way to church. It was a Wednesday, and I was down on Grant Road, and I heard now. So I called Kinsley, and I said, hey, Kinsley, can we set up this testimony thing? And she asked the director, and he said, yeah, come over now, and or come over on Friday and give your testimony. So I went and gave my testimony, and I knew there was something more that I wanted to do for him, but I didn't know what it was. And so I prayed about it, and I called the director, and I said, or I texted the director, and I said, hey, is there anything else I can do in this program and stuff to talk to these guys or anything else? And he never answered me back, so I dropped the whole thing. And about 3 weeks went by. He called me, and he said, hey, let's meet for lunch. I want to introduce you to the house manager, and we can talk about it. So we went and talked about it, and he said, I believe God sent you here. I heard God tell me to call you. So yeah, I want you to come over to the house and minister to these guys. So after that, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm really nervous and I'm sick because I'm on medication today for ear infection. And so I didn't know what to do because I called Shelly and I asked Shelly to pray for me, and because I was thinking that, you know, I was going to have to go over to the house and I would have to leave the church because they go to a different church and all this other stuff. And I came in here on a Friday night, and I remember, because I heard the Lord say, move in. And I came in here on a Friday night, and I was crying and I was upset and asked for prayer about it. And I went home and I'm like, I don't know what to do because there's so much that I do here and stuff that the Lord has me doing here. I don't want to lose that opportunity. And the director called me and he said, what do you have Mondays or Tuesdays and Saturdays? And I'm like, nothing, because I'm here on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. And those 2 days were available. And I'm like, I'll take them both. So that was totally God working and stuff. And since that time, Shelly's been there and gave her testimony. Jason's gave his testimony. Durf's gave his testimony. Pastor's been there, and Josh, and I think we've led 8 people to the Lord or sinner's prayer. And not too long ago, I remember I was headed over there, and I just felt in my spirit that I'm going to have to lead somebody to the Lord or in the sinner's prayer tonight. And so I called everybody. I'm like, can you go with me? Can you go with me? And everybody's like, no. And I called Keegan, and he's like, no, I'm busy. So I went, and sure enough, that was my first person I ever led to the Lord and stuff. But I say that just because, you know, I know that you guys are totally struggling tonight because of an addict and stuff. That, you know, but we have work to do, you know. And so, because of God and that person, I'm standing here today, and He's using me and this church and stuff to minister to the addicts and lost and stuff. So that's all I have. Thank you.